sales issue paid last week. Alliance family, ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's here in the room, help me make some noise for our president and CEO, the one and only Andy Albright.
Okie dokie. So 1, 2, 3, easy peasy. How to get rich faster and cheaper. Those sheets. Let me. Hey, Sarah, ask her. I want those leaderboards that she just had, and also dates for the Alliance Leadership Academy. That's going to end. For Burlington, the deadline is when this show's over. So if you don't have your application in, we're going to make our decision on the 50 that we're going to pick, and Robbie's going to be, or somebody's going to be emailing them and texting them and let them know that they are in. I'm excited about this. It's the most intense how to sell, how to recruit, how to build seminar that we've ever put together. I'm a little concerned that there may not be enough rah-rah and enough of the holly, you know what I mean, the la-la-la that people don't like. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid they don't have enough of that. I'm going to have to put some in there somewhere. But it's intense. Who's coming in? Everybody's preparing. Everybody's getting all their materials or training ready. So they want to kill this thing. We expect people to come out of it writing more business, recruiting more people than they ever have in their life.
That's right.
I believe it'll happen. So I really, is it Neil? Is that your name up there? Just wait, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I won't. There he is.
That's me right there.
I want to tell you, there's never been an easier way to create wealth and money in America that I've ever seen in my life. And but you got to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you've heard this before, Terry, I think you have. Andrew, I know you have. Stephanie, I know you have. Jane, I want you to try to show this simple stuff with more enthusiasm, like a child, like a kid. That's what I'm talking about right there. You know what we should do?
What's that?
We should have a voting who is the best plan shower in the country. We should do surveys and see who gets it. I'm predicting that Jane Hill will be the best one in the country. Maybe Paul Roberts. I just want to be ranked in the top 10. I just want to be in the top 10. Thank you, Robbie. So the social, the get-together starts the 6th of March.
19 days from now.
19 days from now. We let them know kind of early, ain't we? 19 days early. The 6th of March is when we are going to have a 3-day event. 6th at night we get together. We're going to have a social get together, and then the next 3 days is going to be intense.
Yeah,
the one in Lakeland is March 17th. That's social. And then the one in Dallas is March 20th. Okay? What do you think about it, Robbie? Let's do a survey. Get a survey. How many of y'all like to do something like it? Raise your hand. All right, do like this if you think it's a good idea. Hold on a second. This is a good idea. Jane, this is a bad idea. Good idea. Y'all want to do that? Who's in charge of surveys at our company? Do a survey. Do a survey, and let's get to make this thing happen. Let's see who's... Okay. The most basic stuff, the most simple stuff, but you gotta do it with enthusiasm. So today I'm going to talk about some simple stuff that'll get you rich. On page 121 of the activity book, turn with me, please, chapter. Page 121, the activity. If I talk to your person and they can't to fill out, then you ain't trained your person how to do the activity book.
That's right.
You said, well, I trained them, they just didn't learn it. Your job is to learn them.
That's right.
Your job ain't to tell them, your job is to learn them.
Learn them.
My philosophy, and you need to adopt it. I'm trying to find my philosophy. I'm giving you the philosophy right now. If they didn't get it, you didn't give it. No, I gave it and they didn't get it. No, if they didn't get it, you didn't give it.
That's right.
So you got to do it over and over again until they get it. Would you look up there, Stephanie, and find that example page? It shows people how to do it. So here, if you've been with us like Terry and Tia and Stephanie, you got to watch how I will get crazy about a little detail and almost like go on and on about it to the point sometimes you'd be like, move on! I need you to move on. I got it. And I got this one staff member. She's like, got it. I'll be like, I'm gonna have to tell her again. Because right when they say got it that quick, there's your first sign that they ain't got a clue. You understand what I'm telling you? People that say got it need to be taught over and over again. Until they start doing it, you can't quit teaching it.
Okay.
Chris, here, are you tracking with me?
Yes.
The ABTF got to learn this. We got to get people trained on the basics. The first thing you got to do is get people focused on activity, not these dadgum, highfalutin, skill-laced goals. I want to become a chairman of the board. Yeah, okay. All right. Good. Let's check out your activity book.
Right.
We need to see how many, what do we call it when you do it like this, Jane? Is that a dash? Because a dash seems like it ought to be this. Tick marks. You got to do your tick mark. We need to come back. I like that shirt too with the tick marks on it. That perfectly balanced business that had like a pyramid on the angle, tilted. I think we need to tilt it a little bit this time. That last time it was like a right angle. When it comes back, let's tilt it.
There we go.
You follow me? Let's come back and let's do it with color. Last time it was black and white. I don't know, black and white is cool because this is simple. Do it, Jane.
You're getting fancy now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, tilt it. It's a perfectly balanced business. And let's get this activity stuff back going again. You and Chris, you on that, you the alliance. I think we've already made great strides. But we got to be enthusiastic about the mundane. It's like a contradiction. The most boring stuff, we need to be fired up about it. If you're brand new coming on the alliance, this business will not work if you do not work. I hit people all the time. They hit me with this. They say, I just want to see how it goes. I want to see how this works. Let me split some.
Easy.
This right here will work if you work it.
That's right.
That's right.
So what you got to, I mean, this is the attitude. This is what I take on in the hot spots. When people walk away from my hot spots, they believe it because they don't think it's too good to be true.
That's right.
The reason they don't think it's too good to be true, the reason they don't think it's too good to be true is because I tell them about the WORK.
That's right.
So what I do is I contrast the work to the reward. That's what I do good. I don't sell the reward better than anybody else. I contrast it. It will be worth it what you get. So your job is to enthusiastically explain this to people. And I would go through the trouble in hot spots and get up on the board and say, show me what 5 dials look like with tick marks. And get them to do that. And then say, show me up in here, show me your activity book. We need to get people to show us their activity book. The people that I know that are doing this are doing these crazy numbers right here. All right? I want y'all to understand that Kelly Haney did 4 apps for 36,000 in a week. In a week. That's right. People say, I wrote 500. I'm like, what did you? Come. All right. I'm happy for you, 500. I really am. Brandon Beal, 5 apps for 21,000. Chadwick Bray, 6 apps for 19,000 in a week, people. Wow. In a week. Gus Taran, is that the way she said it? Gustavo Taran, 7 applications, 18,009. Ada Crane, 12 apps. Michelle Alleman, 10 applications for 15,000. Now, I talked to a girl this morning. She was all fired. Text her. By the way, text is when you text. I'm going to go to a mass education program right here. Talk is when you talk.
That's right.
Y'all got me? Just so you know, because I talk to them, and then I'm talking to them later on, they show me where they talk to them. I said, you show me where you texted them. Okay? So, this girl had got paid $1,256, dropped into her checking account through the ARC program. ARC done poop, dropped it. All right. She said, I'm excited if anybody don't think this business will work, you need to hook them up with me. I said, here's what most people do at this point in life. Coast. They done got $1,200. They go like, my bills are paid. I deserve it. Like you watching too many car sales commercials. Talking about you deserve one. All right. Janina Wilson wrote 14 applications for 13,000 in a week. Adam Reith wrote 4 for 12. Hartlib wrote 6 for 12. Joe Dukes wrote 9 apps for $12,000. Justin Bullock wrote 3 apps for $12,000. These people are hitting numbers. Now, the other, so it's nothing. Dad beat this into me when I was little. He said, son, there's nothing wrong with having money in your pocket. And so many people make the money or they do the dials and then they don't because they got money in their pocket and they're trying to get it out. They're trying to get the money out of their pocket, so they stop selling and spend it. I'm saying, this is big. If Andrew, Neil, if any of y'all could get this, you younger or newer people,
when I had a job, I had debt. I needed my job. I started Amway on the side at night. Here's what I did. This activity thing, we used to say 3 to 5 nights a week. 3 to 5 nights a week. We just screamed 3 to 5 nights a week. Meaning we would need to be out and about 3 to 5 nights a week. Not in our house, but in somebody else's house. Which reminds me, people will go to a house to make $500 or $2,000 in a minute. But to create $100,000 residual income, they act like they want to stay at home. Meaning, if you recruit a guy, go to his house and sit down with him and text dial.
That's right.
Does that make sense? What is wrong with that? Well, I'm already out selling 2 nights a week and you want me to go out? Yeah, 3 to 5 nights a week. You want to get rich? You want to get free? You want to have millions in the bank? You want a Ferrari? You want that stuff? Well, this is what you got to do. It's numbers. So in our activity book, I was wondering if we could count text dialing as activity, Jane. I don't know if we, you know what I'm saying? Like if you make a dial on the phone and you only let it ring 3 times, and we count that as a tick. If you sit there and text 5 people, we should count that as 5 ticks. And then if you call them back, that's another tick. Does that make sense? Why not we start getting some ticking going on in recruiting too? Who's about that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? We're going to start a new trend here. Like, not kidding. So we got to keep this thing, we got to keep it simple and show them. So here is, you can't see it on this, but this is an example. It's on page, what page is it? They ain't numbered, are they? It's on the 3rd page. That'll be easy to find. 1, 2, if you count front and back, 3, 4. It's on the 4th page of the activity book. It has a sample. I can coach you when you fill this out. If you don't fill this out, I can't coach you. And I am telling you, I've got managers, when they talk to an agent, the first thing they want to do is do a psychological analysis of them. Well, did your mama beat you when you was little? Did she ever tell you she loved you? And all that stuff's important. I am telling you, you can take a child who was loved, spoiled rotten, treated like a queen, and if they will do the activity, they will get the results. Does that make sense? Every spoiled child. I was in the Chancellor Suite one day, Wednesday night. I was up there talking to them, and I was selling them on the legacy program where I give out all the life insurance policies. Like, how much was y'all's, James?
40 million total.
40 million total?
No.
10 million each.
10 million each. 10 million each. $20 million. Say at $20 million. Hey, I got to tell y'all something private about that. Y'all got this will be good for y'all. I got a solution for y'all. Terry and Tia, how much was y'all's?
6 million.
6 million. So here's what the question asked me. It's like, do you feel bad? Are you worried about your children having that kind of money and you leaving them set up and rich like that? I said, no, not really, because it's not my problem, it's their problem. But they said, you don't want your kids to become drug addicts. Look, I done taught my kids how to work. I done set an example. What I want them to do, was Vanderbilt, was he a clothing guy? No, a railroad guy? Railroads. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So Vanderbilt got rich with railroads, and then he gave his money to Gloria, his daughter, and then she gave it all to that crazy guy on television, the one with real clean cut, real tight haircut. Y'all know what I'm talking about? What's his name? Tell me y'all don't know who he is. CNN. Oh, come on. CNN. What's his name? Everybody knows him. Look it up. Gloria Vanderbilt's son. You know who I'm talking about. I thought somebody would know his name. Yeah, Anderson. What's his first name? Cooper. Cooper Anderson. That joker was stinking rich before he got stinking rich.
Right.
That's right.
You might not like his personality. You might not like his lifestyle. You might not like what he stands for. You might love this dude. You might be in love with this dude. I don't know. I'm just telling you, his great-granddaddy was stinking rich, and so was his mama, and so is he. How about that?
How about that, buddy?
How about that? And they were like, oh, hey. I said, what about Trump? That joker wasn't born poor.
Right.
He was born rich.
Right.
They said, well, his children ain't right. I said, one of them is. One of them is. That's bad parenting. That joker been divorced 3 times. He's a mess. But that ain't cause of the money. You with me? That's cause of something else. I think it's chapter 11. In Think and Grow Rich. I'm telling y'all, it's chapter 11 in Think and Grow Rich. That's where the problem lies right there. Read about it. But does that make, you understand what I'm telling you is? The activity is what I'm talking about. That joker Cooper, he gets up and go to work. I bet you he got more dadgum problems than Carter. And he dead. He's got problems, but he gets up and goes. Right. And if you will look at the numbers you do, statistics, okay? You look at the statistics. Here, if you think about this, what if I told you every single text you text, I'll give you $3. Bam. What if I told you every time you dial a lead and let it ring 3 times and hang up, what if I told you I would give you $3? How many phone calls would y'all do? Raise your hand if you kind of starting to get fired up about making a phone call. $3. Ring, 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 and you get $3. How would you like that? How about if I did $7, $8, $9? How much money per dial would I have to do for you? Huh? That makes sense? I went to the textile school at North Carolina State University, and this is the kind of stuff they taught me.
Yeah.
Okay? I need a calculator. Hold on. I got one somewhere. Usually laying all over the place. I'm going to break out a new one. Y'all break out your phone. Get your calculators going. Woo! Boom. Touchdown, baby. Touchdown. All right. Look at here. Brand new, right out of the case. Y'all think a magic trick getting ready to break out, don't you? All right. If you want $5,000 coming in to your house a week, or let's do $5,000 ish you pay, which if you're on a 55%, you're gonna make about $2,000, $2,500. So what we're looking for is 6-figure income. Neil, how'd you like to have a 6-figure income? Raise your hand. Who in here would like to make 6 figures? It is a function of activity, and it's a function of getting paid $5 a dial. Okay? What's that guy's name, Chris? Carlton. Carlton is a function of numbers. You go to door, right?
Yes, sir.
One thing we found out going door to door is that you don't make money going from this house to that house. You only make money when you're at the house. So we would strike a trot from house to house. Mm-hmm. We can't all out. And we go there. So look at that Japanese restaurant. You buy one, get one free. That's steak and shrimp, too. That's what I'd get. I'd get the most expensive thing they got. That way I get the biggest discount in the book right there. That one meal out, you got your money back, Bo. I tell you, I love them people in a Japanese restaurant, Bo. I'm kissing people on the mouth, man. I'm so fired up. That's the best coupon book I had for eating out. But here's what we figured. There was no money in waiting for them to come to the door. Occasionally, somebody would say, why are you hitting on my door so hard? We'd be like, so you can hear me. Y'all eat out? You with me? It's just, it's getting a dial. In other words, it dials, dial it again, dial it again. You get paid. Okay, here's the trick. Quincy, Carlton, y'all make the same kind of money I do. It just takes y'all forever to make it. Does that make sense? You make $1 million, I make $1 million, you make $1 million. I ain't no different than you. I'm just making $1 million quicker than you are. Okay, so this is the whole thing. Quicker, faster, cheaper, easier. I'm going to simplify this dadgum thing down. It's based on numbers. Now, you're going to improve your skill set with skilled people and how to have power and confidence in dealing with people and all them Les Giblin books. And you're going to read books and you're going to think, but when you watch, when they don't buy a book, they didn't like you. If they don't get an insurance for you, they didn't like you. If they ain't recruited by you, Miranda, they didn't like you. You got to get them to like you. And that's a skill. I'm not so worried about the skill in the beginning as the activity. Okay? I'm not worried about this big goal, and I'm not worried about your skill. I'm worried about your activity. When you do your activity, I can coach you on the skill that you are in need of. Okay? So, numbers. Speed of money. So you think about this. If you think it's fun making $1 million over your lifetime, let's do this. Let's take a person making $35,000. $35,000, let's just take $1 million. 1 million divided by 35,000. It'd take you 28 and a half years to make $1 million at 35,000 a year.
That's a long time.
Does that make sense with me there? Now, let me explain something to you. I hate to even get into the self-employed versus job mentality, because if you make $35,000, the government takes your money and just takes your money. You make $35,000 in self-employed, what you do is you spend it all and you tell them it was expenses. And they feel sorry for you and don't charge you no taxes. And poor old soul trying to be self-employed, didn't make no money. Look at him! And you can't get your ego all involved. You're like, yeah, I'm sad about it. Does that make sense? Next year I'm going to try to make 50 and spend it all.
That's right.
Does that make sense? It don't make no sense, but I'm just telling y'all how the laws are set up. Okay, 28 years. What if you made $1 million and it only took you 2 years to make it?
That's right.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah.
What if you could just make $1 million over 5 years instead of 28? 28 divided by 5. That's 571% better. 500% better. It's 5 times faster if you did it in 5 years. We did 2 years. What if you made $1 million in 1 year? Let's do what that looks like. 1 million. If you made $1 million in 1 year divided by 12, that's $83,000 a month. Y'all have no idea how broke I felt when I said that. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'd do. I'd cry. I would be upset. Now, some people say, like, I'm excited. It's just perspective, right? I was like, hey, we'd have to stop doing something. I'd have to cut back. Way back. Like a football cheer. Okay. What if you made $1 million in 1 quarter in 3 months? $333,000 a month. That's good money right there. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't know how many people remind y'all, top 1% of America. Once you make how much gets you in the top 1%? $400,000 in a year. The top 1% takes 1, 2, 2.5 years to make $1 million. They just like me. They're just making it slower. I'm going to tell you how to speed it up. You got to crunch. You got to crunch your activity up front. In other words, you can't make $27 a week. Right. God! Make me want to throw my topless glasses. Okay. All right, so here we go. $5,000 a week issue paid premium is what we're shooting for. So how many apps is that? Let's say, oh heck, let's do 5,000 income, not just 5,000. Let's do 5,000 income a week. That's what you want, $250,000. If you're making $500 a pop, you're going to need 10 pops. Does that make sense? Right. Not true, because how much are you going to get issued if you submit 10? About 7. Yeah. 7 if you're from Burlington. You put an M, you substitute an M for a V. 7. 70%. So that means you got to issue pay about 13. See how I done did the algebra thing before you could get ready? Yeah. All right, 13 times 0.7, it gives you 9.1. That ain't enough. Let's make it up to 14. 14 times 0.7, 9.8. You better make it 15 sales. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anybody tracking my math on this? You got to close 15 deals in order to get $5,000 a week coming in. And this is issue paid policies. Y'all tracking with me? Because, all right, 15. So to do 15 apps, I'm having to trust, I did my math, I'm going to redo it again here with y'all. 15 apps, how many appointments do you need to run? Let's go with, you should be able to do it with 20 appointments. Okay? Now, Jane, I would guess you could do it in less, and Terry, you can probably do it in less. And by the way, if you pick up a case for $27,000 or one case for $12,000, you don't go, job's over.
Right. I'm going to the house.
I'm going to the house now.
Take a break. I'm punching out.
Punching out. That's what people do. You got to track your activity, not your results.
Yeah.
You track your activity, let me look at your results, let me deal with your results. You just worry about activity. Do 20 appointments. On 20 appointments, to get 15 sales, that's doable. Maybe you only make a sale in 10 houses, but in 10 houses, you get 15 apps. If you mess up and start going to 20 appointments and you start writing 25 and 30 applications, that's going to double your income. But if you will quit looking at that, I get it. I love looking at I'm going to tell y'all how bad it is around here. We've been working so hard on the ARC. I ain't seen my checkbook in 3 weeks. I'm nervous as a cat on a tin roof for somebody in the church that you ain't want to talk about who they are. My CFO he balanced my checkbook. I'm like, well, I can't see how much money's in there. But this morning I was thinking, I need to focus on my activity and don't worry about that. But I need to know, because all that money's going crazy with ARC money coming and going, and I'm like, balance my checkbook. Y'all, you with me? That's what people, I know this. I'll guarantee you it's going up. Does that make sense? Because the activity is the whole program we got to focus on. So at 20 apps, so to do 20 appointments, you got to show up in 20 houses. First of all, if you book 20 appointments, you're probably only going to sit in 15 or 13 or 14. They're not going to be home. So now it's going to be a little tough to get 15 sales with just 20 appointments. You might ought to consider 30 appointments. So if you book 30 appointments, you're going to sit in 20 houses. Yeah. I know some people right now that have this much talent, and they're outselling people with this much talent because every day they scratching it. Is that a song? Every day I'm working it.
Every day I'm hustling.
Hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Hustlers make it big, and they get better. Okay, are y'all tracking me on this? Like, I am still on one dadgum subject, beating it to dadgum pulp out of it. You with me? Beat him to his nose bleeds. All right. So now you got 30 appointments you're trying to book. How many phone calls are you going to make? Well, all this is in here. Find me that page 4 again. All this is in here. So you do your math on this thing. If we got 30 appointments booked, 30 appointments, how are we going to book them? Typically, you're going to make 2, 3, or 4 appointments per hour. It's possible that you could book 5 an hour. It's possible. Do you have any idea what your numbers are, Jane? Per hour you set? James? Terry?
5 an hour for me.
You do a 5 an hour? You do 5 an hour? That's impressive. You have any idea, Stephanie, what?
That sounds about right.
It sounds high to me. I think if you knew, looking at 2 to 3.
Oh, 4.
You think 4?
Mm-hmm. $40 an hour, 4 appointments an hour.
$40 an hour, 4 appointments. So if you're going to book 30 appointments, here's what you do. 30 divided by 4, 7.5 hours straight up dialing. How many hours in a day? Quick review. How many know, real quick, how many hours in a day? 24. You need 7.5 of that. I don't even call that part-time. You with me? Now, I don't call it half-time. That is part-time. Part-time, I'm working 7.5 hours. You might dial for 2, take a break, take a nap, go drink some water, come back, 20 minutes, start again, do 2 hours. 7.5 hours of dialing. So this girl told me the other day, she said, I booked my daddy's appointment, takes me all day. I was like, bull crap. It should take you 8 hours max to do it. You should have another 8 hours in there to do something for yourself. That's math. Does that make sense? So you don't want to work all the time, do you? No, I don't. Sometimes I want to sit on the floor at the ball game and watch the game. Sometimes I want to sit in the suite at a concert. And sometimes, chapter 11. You with me? It's just stuff all the time to do. Does that make sense? They ain't read it. They ain't read the book. All right. Some of you guys hooked on Hulu and Lulu and Netflix.
Lulu will get you.
That Lulu will get you, Bo. There ain't no money in there. That's somebody else's money right there. You can't claim you a hustler. And I flip up my iPad and show you all the different tunes, different ways you've been looking up in here. Let me show you this thing. I'll be like, let me show you how this thing. I'm gonna mess people up with this right here. They get up in here, talking about, I'm a hustling every day. I'm a hustling.
Grinding, baby.
I'm a grinding. I hit them with, I say, yeah. I say, yeah. Have you ever seen Ozark? Have you ever seen, what's something good on here? Have you seen the dead Ted Bundy tapes? Who's Bundy? They got it. Huh? That's a serial killer. Anybody? You seen that? How about July 22nd? You seen that? When they start talking about naming off ones they done seen and which ones they 100, Extraordinary Homes, all this stuff they looking at, they ain't no hustlers. What they are is video people.
That's right.
We used to, back in the day, we called it television. When you was a kid, you need to get your television watching over with. You're an adult now. I know adults still watch cartoons on Saturday morning. I know a young man getting up in the morning at 9:30, 10 o'clock. You got to get up out of the shade and into the heat, out of your bed and onto your feet. You can't get rich up in there. All right, y'all doing my math? 7.5 hours of dialing. Show me your numbers. 30 dials. Not 30 dials. Let's see, if 7.5 hours, that would be 7.5 times 40. How many did you say, 40 dials?
40, yeah.
7.5 hours. 7.5 hours times 40 dials. That's 300? That don't sound right.
That's for Terry.
Huh? That's for Terry.
That's for Terry.
That's for Terry.
Yeah.
Let's do it for a new person. Okay? If a new person's going to book what? 3 an hour?
No, a new person should make $40 an hour.
$40. But how many appointments should they book?
They should book 4 appointments an hour.
Should or?
They should.
$30 divided by 4. 7.5 hours is all they got to dial?
They can't be making sandwiches during dial time.
You can't be making a sandwich during dial time. Carlton, who's that guy you got with you?
Mr. Jamal Taylor.
Jamal?
Yes, sir.
Jamal?
Yes, sir.
Jamal, you can't be eating sandwiches during dial time.
Yes, sir.
You going door to door. You can't be stopping for a snack. You got to get to the next door.
That's right.
Quincy, is this making sense to you? How is somebody not making $5 grand? I'm telling you how they not making $5 grand a week. They're not making the friggin' dials.
That's right.
They're not on the activity. They satisfied. Life will give you what you tolerate. And you are tolerating brokedom.
That's it.
And my patience for your brokenness. Does that make sense? Like there's absolutely no reason Not to be making $100,000 a year with the leads we got, with the carriers we got, and with the activity book that we got. Is this making sense? $7.50. You say, I got a full-time job. You know what you call a full-time job? 45 hours a week. You tell me that's a full-time job. If you know how many hours is in a day, you know how many hours is in a week. How many know right now? What's the number? How many hours in a week? Raise your hand. 168. So you need to dial 7.5 divided by 168 for 0.04 or 4% of your dadgum week needs to be dialing. All I'm asking for is 4%. You say, well, how come you say 100%? That's how many hours is in a week is 100% hours in a week. I need 4% of that time dialing. Does that make sense? And I need for you to document it on the dadgum activity sheet. How come I ain't got no preaching, white boy? Trying to give it to them. Trying to give them what they come for. All right. It's just, y'all have no idea how it just tears my nerves up. I searched my life to find a shot, a way to get rich. And you prayed and you wanted something and you said you was going to found it, and now it's right in your lap.
That's right.
And I'm trying to figure out what you waiting for. Why not you? Why not now? Let me tell y'all something. What the Alliance is good for. We make the old new. We make the has-been fresh. We make the more boring stuff exciting. This is what sets us apart from the Alliance. This is who we are. We look at things through kids' eyes. Oh, all I got to do is 7.5 hours. Woohoo! Oh, I forgot to do the math. $5,000 divided by $300. 300. Well, how about that? 5,000 divided by 300. I'm going to pay you $16.60 per dial. I make 27 dials. 27 times 16. You owe me $432. Check your ARC account. That's how much you got this week.
That's right. That's right.
Does that make sense? Now, let me tell you something. If you take this coin right here, I told you I went to textile school. It's something else I learned. If you flip this coin, on this side is what you want, and on this side is a high priority task to do it. If you flip this coin, it's going to land 50 times on this side and 50 on this one. But if you just do it 3, it might land on the same side 3 times in a row. That's called statistics. And if your Riri is only dialing 27 times and you're thinking the statistics are going to come out just as good as 300 a week, $300 statistically is different than if you make 27. If you think making a peanut butter sandwich over an 8-day period is going to come out the same as you make a peanut butter sandwich in about a minute and a half, you got another thing coming to you that is going to be one crusty, nasty tasting jelly sandwich with a cockroach done pulled up in there, and you think it's not the same thing to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich over 9 days as it is in 3 minutes, and it's not the same thing to make $1 million over 28 and a half years as it is to make it over 3 months. It's just speed. It is just speed of activity. That is all it is speed. This is how to get rich cheap. This is how to get rich fast. This is how to get rich easy. You got to focus on the activity. And you got to quit telling them about what you want. I read a book that said you need to decide what your why is. And the number one problem is people don't know what they want. You know you want to be rich. Why are you studying it? This is not new. Everybody don't read. Of course everybody does, don't they? No, apparently they don't. Not if I base want to on what they do. If I base want to based on what you yak, yes. But based on what you do is what you really want.
That's right.
That should be a song. I was feeling good. What you do that you want. What you do what you want. Because what you do tells me what you won't want.
All right.
Does that make sense? This is your ambition gauge right here. Not your rah-rah jumping up and down. This is your activity, baby. So what you got to do now, and this is what I'm telling Jane and James and Stephanie and Andrew, you guys got to get somebody else that gets this. If all of your people that you're talking to are not dialing 300 dials, you have not transferred the information effectively up in their head. Does that make sense? What I'm telling y'all, all I wanted was a shot. Albright was looking for something, and when I found, everything I found, they arrested the people that leaded it, and ATF would show up and shut them boys down. And I was thinking, one day I got to find me something legal so that once I build it, they won't destroy it. Yeah. And when I found Amway, I went to work. That was a multi-level network marketing business. We sold soap and vitamins, and you had margins deadgum thin as a deadgum, I ain't even going to say, frog's hair. And I got free because I worked all the time, didn't spend any money. I paid off all my debt, and I got free. I had no debt, zero debt. Y'all tracking with me? No debt. I wasn't rich, but I had no debt. I was richer than most people because I was not broke. Right. Worse than broke, most people in debt. So I got debt-free. I started piling up money, and I got my insurance license to make money to build my network. That's right. And when I got an insurance, I was like, too bad. I'm making $3 on a box of soap. What if I could make $500 on one dadgum sale? To me, I did the math on that. I said, let me see how much better this is. I went 500 divided by 3. This is 166 times better. That's right. And that was the beginning commissions. I didn't even know there was higher commissions. Right. So what I did, I started looking around. I said, I got to find me something with levels in it. Yeah. And when I found 8 levels with American Classic, I went berserk. I went crazy. I got me an apartment in Florida right beside the dadgum office where they were. Yeah. Does that make sense? I went cray-cray. Talked one of my best young friends into moving to Dallas, which didn't take much talking. As a matter of fact, it might have been his idea. We had people moving on. We attacked this dadgum thing. Yeah. And that's how I made so much money. But I was already trained in the skill of activity monitoring. I was already habit formed into the skill or into the habit of making activity numbers. Like right now, I'm looking at this Carlton going, Bo, we could text dial. I could taste it. Like I feel like I'm teaching when I should be texting. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm teaching when I should be doing my activity. Here's the way it works, Colin. What you do is you text the top best friend you got. Say, hey, Bo, look here. I don't know how you say it, but I'd say, hey, Bo, look here. I got one of my boys. He says, are you serious about your bread? That's what he texts. I don't know how he puts the accent in there. He says, are you serious about your bread? You text them that says, here's another one. You could say, hey, can you talk business for a minute? B-I-Z. Can you talk biz for a minute? Hey, man, can you talk money for a minute? Hey, man, can you talk opportunity for a minute? I don't know what you text your friends because I don't know how they talk. But you text them, and when one of them says, yeah, I'm interested, let's call them. That's called activity. It's called activity. Here's one of the saddest things about activity. Come here, Chris Hill, if you will. Get your mind right. Chris, tell everybody, Carlton, you fired up by this thing? Let's get it. Is that what you said? What'd you say that boy was? Jamal? Is that the guy beside you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell him how you met him, Chris, real quick.
So I was here at the office in a meeting, and I have one of those doorbells. When they press it, it tells your phone and you can talk to them. And Carlton was selling solar panels, security systems, TV, and something else.
You were at the office?
Yeah, I was here.
And he was at your house?
Me and Tia were in a meeting, and he was at my house. And so...
He went door to door?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So then I said, what you want? And he was trying to sell me solar panels. And I said, that sounds cool. Have you ever thought about life insurance? Because you're already out there. And he said, yeah, me and my buddy have been talking about it in the past, about 6 months ago. We just never did anything on it. And I said, here's my address. You need to drive up here when you get done. And so he was here about an hour and a half later.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I want all y'all to understand. How many people do you for a fact know that he should have already been called and talked to?
Carlton?
Yeah.
20.
20 people know him. Any of them called you? Mm-mm. They still ain't called you. All he did is answer his doorbell. Does that make sense? This is the problem with activity. If you don't dial them, somebody will.
That's right.
That's why we give out our leads one time, and then 5, 6, 7 weeks, 9 weeks, I don't know what the number is, we sell it again because people had that lead and they didn't dial it. Or if they did, they only dialed it one time. I was talking to a guy in the TWC. His buddy been after him. I believe it was Terry. Was it Terry? Y'all brought in a guy been after for two years.
Yeah.
2.5 years he'd been after that boy. Now, if he had pressed Chris's doorbell, he'd been like, yep, Terry Edwards is talking to me every day about it. Every time he turned around, he'd text me, calling me about it. Chris said, you need to get back with him. Does that make sense? In other words, it's going to get got. Somebody going to get that final expense sale. Somebody going to get that mortgage protection sale. Somebody going to recruit that young, sharp man. Is it going to be you? I was going to get mine. That was my thinking. I was going to get mine. And I mean, not dialing right now. My staff will tell you, I will go through the day and I am just drained dealing with insurance executive and regulations and the neighbors over here and the dadgum pollution and this, you name it, I'm dealing with it and I'm about dead. We come in here at 3 o'clock, 2:30, 4 o'clock, I get on the phone and start talking to new people, I get fired up. People say, I don't know how you go all day because I'm talking to people. I'm printing cash. You understand what you tell me? That's like getting tired of eating chocolate. That ain't gonna happen. You follow what I'm saying? I'm printing money. I do it all day long because I done the math. For $16 a dial, I will have to stop out. You got to stop, Bo. You done got your 30. You done got your 30. But now we got to move to going to the house. So people say, when am I going to recruit? Let me tell you all this. Here's the way I looked at it. Selling is a job. And if I don't have a job, I don't have any money. And I appear to be stupid. I ain't stupid. Stupid is as stupid does. And if I got money in the pocket, I'm smart. Does that make sense? If you ain't got money in your pocket, stupid is as stupid does. You dumb. Does that make sense? You can't say this and do nothing and expect people to think you smart. They gonna think you stupid. I had to have a job. When I was building Amway, I would work like crazy during work. But when I was on a 15-minute break, which was every chance I got, I would be working on my Amway network. Does that make sense? I had a job. When I started insurance, the only reason I sold is because I needed a job. I didn't want to be broke and stupid. Does that make sense? And then every other waking meeting, I was building my network. I was recruiting because that was my business. I might put in 30 hours selling, 20 hours selling, 40, but I figured out of 168, if I put in 40 on my job, I had 128 hours to work my business. That's why I cut down on sleeping. I started sleeping about 4 hours a night at max because I wanted to work 20. 20 times 7 is 140. So if I'm putting in 40 on a job, at least that's left me 100 hours to build my business. Is that making sense? And what I did is I turned it into activities. I was just like, what am I going to do? What am I going to write down? What gets me money and what gets me broke? Now, there's all kinds of books that say this different ways. The 4 quadrants. First things first. You can take time reading it, but I'm just telling you, if you put everything in quadrant 1, you won't have to worry about quadrant 3, quadrant 4, or quadrant 2. Quadrant 1 is A, activities. If I do this, now here's what people tell me. All work and no play makes Johnny a boring kid. That is not true. Nobody thinks that Kid Rock is a boring kid. Does that make sense? Nobody thinks Trump is boring. You with me? Here's what you know. These people do what they do. This is what they do 24/7. And people are funny, they go, he plays golf. He's playing golf, negotiating with somebody, building a relationship, trying to build his network. Who are you talking about? Anybody that I know that is wealthy are very interested. Everybody wants to talk to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett don't know nothing. except what? Value, equity, money, profit. Oh, he knows how to do that one game. Y'all don't know. What do y'all know? he plays cards online. Huh? No. No, it's what old people play. Huh? Bridge. He knows bridge. He's a bridge player. Jeez. But you understand what I'm saying is that's one thing he does. Like he is so limited in his hobbies. Where you take a person that watches 10 different television shows, like Law and Order is okay. You just can't add all these other shows. You with me? You got to keep it limited. The bull crap in your life, you got to limit it. And what you do is you do this so much, you do the activity so much that you don't have time to do stuff. And then when people get mad at you and say, hey, you don't quit hanging out with the family, you just say, well, you know how I am on my word. Once I give my word to something, then I have to stick to it, and integrity's big and stuff like that, and God don't like liars. So I told a man I was going to get rich and do it and work with his business and do it. So I'm sorry, I apologize, but you're going to have to blame it on integrity. You're going to have to, does that make sense? Yeah. Once you do this, then you make up your excuses while you're not doing the other stupid stuff. And you know how to make up excuses. You've been doing it all your life. And you got friends and relatives that'll give you some excuses. Just ask them to get in this business and they will give you a couple excuses. And then what you do is you just reuse those same excuses. See, some people use excuses why they're broke. Some people use excuses why they're rich. Does that make sense? Like people say to me like, why you like money so much? I don't like money. I like buying planes, and it takes money. Money is just a byproduct. It's just a way that I like giving money to NC State. They're talking about this new, we're getting ready to go down there. We're doing this health facility. You can rehabilitation in the Murphy Center, and we're going to go down there and film what they're doing in construction. I love giving away millions of dollars, and I can't give away millions based on 100. I got to have millions to give away millions, and that's just, I just love giving money away. And then some people say, you don't give it all away. I seen a Lamborghini you got down there in the basement. I go, well, I don't give it all away. I tried. I just messed up. Polished. My bad. Yeah, I gave it to the Lamborghini guy. You find somebody else. Matter of fact, what you want to do is you want to hire 6 people. Listen to me, Carlton. Mm-hmm. Listen to me, Quincy. 6 people. First of all, just knocking out 10 grand to issue paid. I just showed you how to make $5,000 a week. That's $300. You can overshoot it, okay? That would be, that kind of money, what would that be, Jane? If you were, you'd have to be turning in to clear 500 on a 55%. How many sales? Well, we already did it. How many sales would you have to be making? 30 sales? No, you're doing 20 appointments. How many? 15 sales. You ain't even thought about this. 15 sales, so it's 15 times 1,000. That's 15,000 in sales a week times 4.2. So that's around 63,000 a month is what you would be selling doing $300. Hey, does this verify me, Terry? Yeah. 63,000, Jane? And you'd be issuing about 0.75. You'd be issuing about 47,000 times 0.55. Get you 25,000. Am I a little bit high? Or is that about right? That's per month. So you'd be issuing around 25,000. You getting paid around 25. Paid. Personal production. Okay, but you're writing 63,000. 63,000, is that right? Yeah. 63,000 times 0.75. So you'd be issuing about 47,000 a month. Make sense? In other words, you see these people submitting 27,000 in a week, 10,000 a week, right. 9,000 in a week.
Right.
Wait a minute, more than that. Here we go. 36,000 a week. I'm talking about 50,000 or 60,000, 63,000 in a month. Y'all with me on this? I'm not 300. By the way, you're getting $16 times 300. You're getting $16.60 a dial. Right. The problem is you're not making 300 dials. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example, and I feel I'm going to get Preston to do the example doing that kind of sales. Just doing 10,000 in sales, issue paid. not 45,000, which is the example we just went through, just 10,000. You get 6 people to do 10,000 a month. They each get 4, and they get 2. Okay, so it's 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 is 6 is 12. 12 is 24. So 6 across top, 24. Then each one of them get 2. That's 48. Everybody selling 10 grand, your income is $199,000 a month. A month. At 10,000 sales a month, I just showed you how to make $300. If you will put the big rocks in first and get your dials, and you will get 6 people to put in the $300 before they go over to their mama's house and sit around and bull crap and get mad and think about how stupid she is and how your mama's crazier than my mama and how, you wish you had a good mama like Terry Edwards. Mama loved on him. You wish this and you wish that. Over at your mama's house, I need for you to get into dials first. You got to get 6 people to put in the dials first. And then those 6 people get 4 people. You can even, if you already got your 6 nailed down, you could help one of these guys get 4 people doing the dials first, putting in the big rocks first. You do that, you're $199,000. We ought to do the math on that, see if you're writing $25,000 a month or $40,000 a month. What would you be making with that program, 642? But y'all see what I'm saying? Yes. We got to quit with the highfalutin psychoness and just go down to the activity book. That's who we are. We make the mundane exciting. When we travel, we look at stuff and we cry. I tell you what. See, this is what happens when Jane Hill shows a plan. She's jacked up. When Terry shows it, when Paul Roberts shows it, when Chris Long's getting it. He's getting it back. He had it, blew up like crazy. He lost it. I don't know. It just went away from him. It's like that with your happiness or momentum, but he's getting it back now. His numbers are going through the roof. He's got that childlike excitement. Toby and Stephanie, getting it back. We were talking about it. It's just getting it back. And once you get it, you don't want to lose it. And the way you keep it, I'm telling you, here's how you protect a habit. Urgency. That's my number one secret. Urgency. How you know that? Because I read it this morning in the house book. Right up in here, in the first couple of pages right here, talking about the secret sauce. A disciplined life is being able to marry drive and discipline. It allows you to consent to a routine or habit in order to master the mundane. And then in here, it talks about urgency. Where is it about urgency? Urgency is the secret to keeping this stuff crazy, to keeping an activity. If you are okay with making $1 million over 28.5 years, you have no urgency, you have no commitment to activity. You see how this is just a formula? Your commitment to activity, your willingness to master the mundane is based on your urgency. That's what people think it's funny, or they think when I say you're making the same amount of money as mine, you're just taking forever to get it. You got to move it up. The faster you move it up, that's called urgency. I got to have it now. I want it all. I want it now. I want it all. I want it now. Does that make sense? I want it all. I want it now. You got to move it up. That's urgency, and that drives you to commit to activity. Yes. But your willingness to take forever, your tolerance on being broke, your willingness on not having stuff is what's killing you. You got to get mad or glad. Pick one. Mad has always been mine. Yeah. You go with what you want to book. Go. All right, guys, listen. The ARC paid out. People got money. How many people got money in your checking account? Woohoo! We got a Alaskan cruise. You can win up to 4 cruises, one for you, one for your buddy and your mama and daddy. Somebody else, you can take them with you. Then when you go, you can take money with you. You can take stacks of money. In other words, you don't have to go broke. Let's overshoot, guys. Let's get people to understand that the reason we are big and bad, the reason we see things like new, the reason we change people's lives, the reason we put spark back in them, the reason we give them life is because we have childlike faith and we're excited and we know how to monitor activity. That's all I got. Love y'all. Hope that helps. Text somebody, Carl, and see if you can get them on the phone.